mean, this is just a little bit of what's to come. Look at the circus catch. That's what I'm talking about. Anytime you have the opportunity to start with a highlight like that, you do it because that's what we do. Harry Douglas, look at that. I mean, you got to feel good about that, right? You just ball lands in your lap.
I feel really good about that catch.
Yeah, that's how Harry Douglas feels every single week, hanging out with me. Welcome to the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. He's Harry Douglas, wide receiver 1, QB1 in my heart. I'm Jason Fitz. For the next hour, we're going to get you caught up on all of the massive chaos throughout the world of college football. It's another Saturday, which means...
But hold on. Stop. You said massive what?
Chaos.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I've been dealing with all day, watching college football with this man, because it has been a wild day. If you're new to the show, what we're going to do is watch all of the highlights with you. We'll get you caught up on the action you need to know. And the big result right now, Georgia doing exactly what my dog Annabelle said they would do. Annabelle Pup Picks. Annabelle now 6-1 this season because we all knew Georgia was going to thump Kentucky 30-13, and that includes a sympathy touchdown that just happened a second ago for Kentucky. So absolute blowout by Georgia.
I got to give a lot of credit to this Georgia defense, right? Kentucky coming into the football game. Chris Rodriguez Jr. was one of the top rushers.
One more time on that?
Rodriguez was one of the top rushers in the country. This Georgia defense held him, I believe, to 7 carries for 7 yards. I don't think the Kentucky offense had over 60 yards rushing. That is huge. That is big. But a freshman tight end for the Georgia Bulldogs is a guy who's going to make a lot of NFL teams very, very happy when it's time for him to come out. Brock Bowers. I said at halftime that Georgia need to get these tight ends more involved. They did that coming out of halftime. This young man had over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. 2 tubes.
Yeah, I mean, look, Kentucky's defense gave Georgia everything they could handle in this football game in the first half. And it was a war of attrition. It felt like at some point you knew the dam was going to break, and that's exactly what happened. But I will say, Harry, as much as we've been pro-Georgia, and I think we both agree they're the #1 team clearly in the country, even before today's outcomes, there are still some question marks about whether or not this offense can be as dynamic as it needs to be, whatever that means. But I'll ask you this. Is it possible the Georgia defense, I saw this tweeted today and retweeted, I don't remember who I stole it from. Is it possible they're like the Ravens of 2000, 2001? Like once they've scored 6 points, they're going to win because you just don't score on them?
Well, and I think that's a great comparison because right now they had that defensive line like the Ravens did actually in the linebackers to that 2000 team. 2000 team actually won the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
With Ray Lewis and those guys and Terrell Suggs, T. Sizzle. So this Georgia defense, it's just going to be tough. The offense just has to do enough to not turn the football over and lose them the football games. And Stetson Bennett, right, he doesn't have to be great. I know JT Daniels isn't there, but they have other guys that's not there. They had guys on the offense that's trying to get back in the flow of things. But I'm telling you, when this Georgia football team has everyone back, and they're hitting on all cylinders, I don't see anybody beating them in college football.
Look, what I took away from that is that your nickname for Terrell Suggs is T-Sizzle. So when you introduce me and Terrell, am I going to walk in and be like, T-Sizzle, what's up?
Hey, T-Sizzle, man, he put some hurt on a lot of quarterbacks.
It's a second date move. All right, let's get you caught up on the next game on the slate. Purdue taking on #2, Iowa? Yeah, I say it like that for a reason. We pick it up first quarter, 3rd and goal, no score. Aiden O'Connell runs in here. Tricky little move, 6-yard touchdown. Purdue goes up 7-0.
I love the way he used the referee as a blocking shield.
At it. Like, might as well if you can. Second quarter, Ivory Kelly Martin says, you know what, let's get in on the fun. Swiggity smoothie, go for the booty. Game tied at 7. Iowa saying we can stay in this thing, but less than 30 seconds to go in the half. Same score. Purdue with this was a big touchdown.
This is very important. Man coverage by Iowa. Great play call by Jeff Brom and Brian Brom. They're brothers. Run those pick routes and get those guys out of place as defenders.
We pick it up here, 2nd and 9. Purdue up by 10. O'Connell finds David Bell for the 21-yard touchdown. Purdue goes up 24-7. The #2 team in the country just got their butts kicked. Let's just call it what it is. 24-7, Purdue over Iowa, and a game that, frankly, didn't feel that close. Iowa never got anything going, and the stat line you see there is not a mistake. David Bell, 11 catches for 240 yards and a touchdown. Harry Douglas, you have been saying it for a month on this show. The question is, could Iowa handle elite speed? Could Iowa handle elite athleticism? They got their first hint of that with Bell for this season. and they just got thrashed.
Well, I'll tell you this, Fitz. Last night, you happened to do the kickoff, right? And I was a guest on the kickoff show. And I caught a lot of heat because on the kickoff show, I said, you take those turnovers away from Iowa, and they're just a regular football team. Today, the number 2 team in the country that y'all ranked number 2 in the country was a regular football team because they did not get those turnovers. They don't have elite speed. They don't have a game breaker, and we've seen that today. They couldn't even defend David Bell, who was not a slack, because all David Bell has done in his career against Iowa was put up over 500-plus yards and touchdown after touchdown and over 30-plus catches.
Yeah, the career numbers in 3 games for Bell. 37 catches, 3 games against Iowa. 37 catches, 558 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's after today. I would think even coming into this game, maybe you think, hey, that's the guy we got to stop.
Well, let's see. Are we going to game plan to stop David Bell? No, let's just let him go for 200-plus against us today.
To me, part of this we have to acknowledge, and I've been having a war on Twitter with my buddy Travis Rockhold, and talking about, well, where's Iowa going to fall to? At some point, you got to say, all right, who was Iowa coming into this game? Because Alabama got benefit of the doubt after losing to A&M, because if you watch Alabama, they're still really stinking good. We have been watching Iowa every week saying, I don't know if this is going to sustain, and now they got their asses kicked. Like, there isn't some way to negotiate those two things into one. Like, Iowa was not, in my mind, coming in the second-best team in the country. Now they are clearly, they've shown their weakness, and Iowa is going to fall, I think, massively, and they're out of the running because they got blown out. We all know the second commandment is thou shalt not get blown out.
And like you mentioned earlier, I said that this team lacked team speed. That's something I've seen on film. Even in losses, I've seen this team not able to handle their opponent's team speed, and it showed today against the Purdue Boilermakers.
Yeah, well, one thing I can tell you is Iowa's not going to be number 2 next week. We all know that. Cincinnati will be, because Cincinnati took care of business today. This is UCF versus Cincinnati. Luke Fickell, number 3, Cincinnati, getting ready for the game. Fickell just looks cool. I'm sorry. Desmond Ridder finds Alec Pierce in the end zone. Beautiful catch here. 19-yard touchdown.
This young man is coming along in that receiver group for the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Yeah, you talk about explosiveness. Cincinnati has it. And then we picked this up. Jerome Ford had a day. Breaking through the line, down the sidelines, presses the turbo button. All of a sudden, bam, he's out there. 79-yard touchdown run. The Bearcats go up 28-0. Ford had 189-yard rushing in this one. Mikey Keene tries to get something done here. Ill-advised pass picked off by Deshaun Pace. Just can't do that. I mean, this game was out of hand already at that point.
Oh, yeah.
We pick it up here. Ensuing Bearcats possession coming up. Ford just going to walk in from 4 yards. Cincinnati up 35-0.
Oh,
Harry Douglas starting to fall asleep.
I mean, Cincinnati.
Grater's ice cream, Skyline chili, Bearcats football, things that dominate at this point. Picking it up, third quarter, UCF down 35-7. You're going the wrong way. Wait, you're not if you're a Cincinnati fan.
Another pick six.
42-7 at this point. And just because, Cincinnati gets more love in this game, Ridder still in the game. Not sure why, up 42-14, gets clobbered on this play. Harry, why is your quarterback still in when you're up 42-14 in the fourth?
I know why. They understand that they have to make a statement. They want to make a statement, score as many points as possible, but I wouldn't risk my quarterback's health trying to make a statement. If I win the football game, I win the football game. I have to bank on it's been a lot of parity in college football this year, and we're gonna be where we're supposed to be.
56-21 is the final score in there, but I think, Harry, you just said something really important. When I was hosting College Football Live this week, I asked, can Cincinnati just win, or do they have to win with style? And the answer I got was they have to win with style. That's part of what they're doing here.
Yeah.
I think what we saw today, Cincinnati could have taken the foot off the gas, really, just coasted and still won by, 2-3 touchdowns. That was not their goal here. Their goal is to make sure every single week they send a statement.
And Fitz, I understand, and I'm going to continue to say this. I know Desmond Ridder is the leader on that football team. But all Cincinnati has to do right now is lean on Jerome Ford. Lean on that running back, let him take you to the promised land, and hit his head on the goalpost week in and week out.
Yeah, Cincinnati is going to be the number 2 team in the land. Speaking of teams on the rise, this show has been hotter than any other show in the country on any network about one Michigan State University. Sparty taking on Indiana. First quarter, Cal Holiday with the interception. 30-yard return, getting a little up here.
Is that another pick six?
That was a theme for today. I mean, absolutely good right here. MSU's Peyton Thorne completes a pass to Tyler Hunt. 12-yard touchdown there. That beautiful play design.
Yes, it was.
absolutely gets the guy wide open. Michigan State goes up 17-9 with that play. This was a tight game for them for a long time in this one. You pick it up. Stephen Carr runs for a touchdown.
The Hoosiers are fighting.
But looks like he's just short of the end zone. Knee down just before. So we pick it up here, and Carr. Whoop. Should call him bust because he went bust right into the end zone.
I like that.
Nothing. I got nothing. All of a sudden, we're looking at this game getting close. They go for two. Nothing happening there.
2-point conversion. The Spartans on defense went cover 0. You cannot run that play. Somebody's guarding the tight end. You're trying to shovel pass it too.
We pick it up here with a field goal 49 yards away. Michigan State extends their lead to 20-15. And now, beautiful blitz, beautiful rub on that edge. And all of a sudden, not only does it force a fumble, but it also gets a recovery with that.
One of the top teams in the country in getting sacks. Michigan State, when the game was on the line, got another one and a fumble.
Indiana didn't see that blitz coming from anywhere. Now, just when you think that's going to put the game out of hand, Peyton Thorne doesn't put enough air under this ball. Swoop!
That's a bad throw. Got to get that football to the outside to give your receiver, the only person, a chance to catch that ball. And I mean only.
2:11 left. IU with the ball. Trying to make something happen. Launches it up there, and no, sir. Smart play to bat it down as it was 4th and 21. Better field position from that turnaround anyway. Mel Tucker, 7-0 for Sparty. 7-0. This was a tough defensive battle for a lot of the football game. Michigan State, not particularly pretty, but they find a way to win this one 20-15.
Right, and people on Twitter were saying, hey, Michigan State is struggling with Indiana offensively. Well, guess what? Cincinnati did as well. If it wasn't for an ejection, Cincinnati may have lost that football game. But what I love is that this young Michigan State team found a way to win. They found a way to win when their backs were against the wall the entire football game. Now, Indiana had the football inside of Michigan State's 30-yard line 4 times. Guess what they came away with? 9 points and a fumble.
Well, and you said that repeatedly while we were watching the game. Like, we know that Sparty this year can score. This isn't the Michigan State offense of previous years. They can typically score, and it felt like field goals were going to come back to haunt them, which is exactly what happened here. You're right, there's a bit of a survival element to this game. It wasn't the sharpest game for Michigan State, but if you're Mel Tucker, you now go into a bye week coming off of 7-0. You get a week to get right, and then you're going to take on Michigan. And look, the gauntlet of the Big 12 or Big 10 is about to hit as all of these teams are going to play each other. But there's a real opportunity for Michigan State to come out and make a statement against Michigan. I don't know if they can do that, but they're going to rise in the rankings, and they are absolutely, I think, right now the most stunning story in college.
And I think their defense right now leans on the hat of bend but don't break, right? They give up a lot of yardage, but like I just mentioned, inside the 30-yard line today, Indiana was only had 3 field goals and a fumble. They actually got a turnover as well. But against Michigan, they have to be better against the run. They have a bye week to actually tackle in practice, stud up, fit their gaps, because Michigan is going to try to impose their will on the Michigan State Spartans in that in-state rival.
Yeah, I think it's strength on weakness in that game, so we'll see how it plays out. But you're absolutely right. And also, Indiana fans, all is not lost. I mean, I know it's not been the season anybody wanted for Indiana, but the losses have all been to very good football teams. So not all hope is lost for the future of that program. In the meantime, instead of looking at the future, let's look at the past. We all remember one of the most memorable plays last season was this. Foggy night in Gainesville. LSU visited then number 6 Florida. Tie game, just over 2 minutes left. Looks like Florida holds on 3rd down, but Marco Wilson takes an LSU cleat, chucks it down the field. It extends the drive and leads to an eventual LSU win.
Gosh, we all do some bonehead things when we're young, don't we?
No, not me.
Okay.
Social media didn't exist when I was young, so I'll just say not me. No, you're right about that. That was one of those moments that I think they absolutely wish they could have back. So let's see how it goes this year. Florida at LSU.
Gosh, my eyes.
I mean, 5 seconds left in the half. Gators down 2 scores. Emory Jones goes deep. LSU just decides not to jump.
Yeah, because they're over there coasting. They're taking a play off. Okay, this guy has it. This guy's going to bat it down. This guy's trying to catch an interception. Bat the football down, man. That's what you're taught to do.
Yeah.
Bat the football down.
Bat that thing up. 21-13 LSU lead at that point. 3rd quarter, Dwight McGlothern picks off Jones. Nice little pick right there. LSU gets possession. Also a quality return.
The interception hurts, but the interception for a touchdown hurts even more.
Yeah, that makes it 28-13 at that point. Now we pick it up. Anthony Richardson comes in for Jones in the red zone. Gators down 15 Richardson keeps it himself for the 5-yard touchdown. Gators showing a little signs of life, makes it 28-21.
He did a little Gator chump as well.
Later in the third, nice little pass there. Richardson finds Damian Pierce, 11-yard touchdown. Game tied suddenly at 35. We're in the fourth quarter, 4th and goal. Game tied at 42. Coach O stays aggressive. And look at that play. Max Johnson finds Jeray Jenkins. 49-42 at that point. Florida looking frustrated. We pick it up. 2nd and 10. Gators down a score. Richardson, just an ill-advised pass from the start. Had me yelling at the TV when it happened. That's not the way Florida wanted to lose this game. That's exactly what happened. 49-42 in a game where the defenses both decided they would try to, maybe play a different Saturday. 49-42, a big win for LSU.
Yeah, this Florida defense, it was non-existent. They were allergic to actually tackling the ball carrier. As you've seen, Davis Price had that many yards rushing, had a great day on the ground. I think LSU coming into this game only had, as a team, I think 500 and something yards rushing. And one person has over 200 yards rushing today.
Yeah.
That's inexcusable. But the biggest debate here for me is that you have two quarterbacks, right? You have Emory Jones for Florida, and then you have Anthony Richardson. Right now, it looks like Anthony Richardson is the guy that should be starting and should be playing. So my question is when is someone going to bring up the simple fact that Dan Mullen hasn't been playing this young man? And I don't want to hear anything about injury because in pregame warm-ups against Alabama, he did a backflip. That lets me know the hamstring wasn't bothering him. So why was Dan Mullen waiting so long to play Anthony Richardson over Emory Jones?
Well, and it raises a fair point as we came into this game. I think you and I said before the game, if LSU loses this, are we going to start to have real conversations about Coach O? Well, I would also say at what point are Florida fans going to get restless? I mean, Dan Mullen wasn't brought in to lose to LSU. Like that, there's too much talent on this roster to be meddling at the brink of a top 25 team.
And just about every Florida fan that I talk to, they want to know the same thing that I'm asking. Why isn't Anthony Richardson our guy? Why isn't he under center? Why isn't he leading our offense? Because I'm used to a Dan Mullen offense doing it in the run game, doing it in the pass game. Right now, it's just a run game for them.
Yeah, and you look at, I understand Georgia's in a class of their own. Like we can all say, all right, fine. This is a year where Georgia's going to run the East. That's fine. But you don't expect Florida to look, at times, incompetent. And that's just the nicest way I can say to how the quarterback play has looked specifically. And whether it's because, the old adage, if you have two quarterbacks, you have none, or whether it's because of the differences in their style, or whether it's because Mullen just hasn't been able to get his staff to coach up these players.
Can I keep it real?
Yeah, keep it real.
Make the decision. Play your young guy. Don't be scared to do it. We seen Nick Saban did it in the past. We seen Dabo Swinney do it in the past. We're seeing Lincoln Riley has to do it now. Play the young guy. It's okay. Gradually he'll get better throughout the season. Play the young guy. That's the thing to do. Play the young guy.
Speaking of the young guy and speaking of Lincoln Riley, we've got a big one coming up tonight. TCU traveling to Norman to take on number 4 Oklahoma in primetime on ABC. Holly Rowe will be reporting from the sideline for the game and sent us this amazing report.
Hey everybody, it's Holly Rowe live from Oklahoma. I am out here on the field where I can see Caleb Williams. Where's Caleb? Right here. He's warming up. We still do not know who will be the starter for Oklahoma. We're going to check in with Lincoln Riley in just a moment, but he says it's a game time decision between Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler. I actually did this game last year, Oklahoma versus TCU, and Spencer Rattler played great. He got some chemistry with his wide receiver, Marvin Mims. So let's see how this plays out. We might see both guys tonight. Don't really know yet. I do know this. It is a gorgeous night for football here in Norman. It's going to be awesome. And whoever plays quarterback for Oklahoma, they're undefeated. There's a lot of positive things to talk about for the Sooners here tonight.
Holly just made a smart point, and something, as she said, I forget. We're so consumed with the quarterback conversation for Oklahoma. We forget that they're undefeated. I mean, we're talking about this season like it's gone off the rails. Oklahoma's number 4. The question is, Caleb or Spencer? How would you do it?
Caleb Williams, he has to be my guy. I just talked about that with Florida. Lincoln Riley has to go with the young guy. He has to go with the guy that gave this team a spark. He has to go with the guy when this team's back was against the wall, against their rival Texas in the Red River shootout. He brought them back. This team had a different life. And he adds to your run game. Now when you have a defense who has to defend for Caleb Williams in this run game, and they have 2 guys who can do it in the backfield for Oklahoma, you have to account for another guy. Now, offensively, you're at an advantage Now that opens up more windows and more avenues for those running backs to get more yards. Right, now I understand your offensive line isn't as good as it has been in the past, right? But having a dual threat quarterback and a quarterback that can give you those wild plays, get you out of trouble when things break down is an advantage to your offense, is an advantage to your program. So you have to play that guy. And Oklahoma's undefeated still.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma has a real shot at a national championship, right? Like, I mean, I know we say, fine, we all believe that Georgia's clearly the best team in the country, but I'm looking at an undefeated Oklahoma team that is supposed to be a national championship contender, and we're looking right now at Spencer Rattler, who is supposed to be a Heisman candidate. That hasn't happened, and at some point, you know, as much as you want to protect young men and give them the opportunity to be the best versions of themselves, if you run a program, you got to do what's best for every young man on that program. And
everybody.
That's the big key to me here is that Spencer Rattler right now, whether it's because the organization has lost faith in him, whether it's because he's lost faith in himself, we're going to spend years trying to figure out where Spencer Rattler went wrong. But it went wrong. And so now if you're Lincoln Riley, man, you got to get out there and you got to fix it to be right for your team moving forward. And I think that to that end is Caleb Williams, which really raises the question of what's next for Spencer. I've seen a lot of people this week on Twitter having the discussion about, you know, he can go pro. Should he go pro? I don't think he's put enough on tape.
No.
So, like, to me, Spencer Rattler's going to enter the transfer portal, and his hope is going to be that when he gets somewhere new, that maybe it's a reset for him as an individual, a reset for whatever team he goes to, and he can go somewhere, have an immediate impact, and find the way to tap the potential that Harry, I believe he believed he has.
Well, I happen to know a lot of guys who work in those front offices when it comes to these NFL teams, and right now they don't think he's pro ready because he doesn't do one thing great. What does he do great, right? Yeah. So I think if he's not going to stay at Oklahoma, enter the transfer portal, go work on your game. Listen, we've seen Jalen Hurts do it. Become a better passer when he transferred from Alabama and went to Oklahoma. Now, if you don't want to stay at Oklahoma, you don't want to ride the pine, which baffles me because, you know, I'm old school. I'm all about riding it out, and when your opportunity resurfaced, then face adversity and hit it head on and overcome it. But if you're not going to do that, go to a program where you can show what you can do so you can play a little bit more, then you go pro. Going right now, it's too much. There's too many dark clouds right now.
I think there's a fine line. I've always been a big believer, like, hey, you made a commitment, ride it out. I believe parts of that.
Yeah.
I think there's a fine line, though, because you got to be somewhere where you feel like the people you're working with believe in you. And if you're working your tail off and you feel like they just don't believe in you, it's not a match anymore, then go find the right place that is a match. But don't put yourself into the league before you're ready to be in the league, because you can't rebound from that on a life point.
No.
So the other question here is, like, realistically, in your mind, is Oklahoma a national championship contender with either of these quarterbacks? I mean, again, we're looking at Georgia and the greatness of where they seem to be this year. But there's no clear-cut number 2 team in the country. I mean, if I'm an Oklahoma fan, I'm certainly sitting back, putting my feet up, saying, hey, we can kick Cincinnati's butt. Like, that's how Oklahoma fans got to feel today, right?
And I'll say this, and I think that this is how the committee's going to look at it as well, right? Okay, what does this Oklahoma football team look like under the helm of Caleb Williams? We seen some of that last week when he went into the game against Texas, a rival game. Now, going forward, if this team thrives and they start blowing people out and they have the production that they plan on having coming into the season, I think the committee is going to view this Oklahoma team different under Caleb Williams versus Spencer Rattler.
Well, and they should, like, what I want from the college football playoff, I want that ref to stop picking his nose, number one. But what I want from the college football playoff committee is for them to look at everything that's happening with the context of why it's happening and how it's happening. Yeah. If they change quarterbacks and this team suddenly looks more efficient, looks better offensively, looks like they're more of who we expected they would be coming into the season, then I want the committee to value them differently. Like, that's why there's a committee, not a computer. It's because it's not just a bunch of metrics, it's also the eye test. Like, that has to matter to the people that are given the opportunity to have a vote.
And look,
in
this team last week against Texas, when Spencer Rattler was quarterback, looked like a team that had drunk all night and woke up wobbling with migraines, headaches all over the place. Caleb Williams came in, looked like a team who decided not to go out and party and drink. And not saying that's what they did. I'm just using that, you know.
Yeah, not that you ever did that when you played. Okay,
no,
okay, perfect. I never did.
I would never.
Ooh. All right, so let's get you the picks for the game. Harry, who you got in this one?
I got Oklahoma.
But I don't think there's a big doubt here.
Oklahoma.
I'm going to agree with you, Harry. I've also got Oklahoma in this one, and to me, it's a lot less about TCU and where they are, and my belief that Oklahoma is still very talented. I think Caleb's going to come in, and when Caleb comes in, he's going to play well. So I think they're going to look much better. What I do know is that what you should do is hang out right here to do it. This is the best part of hanging out with us every week, is that you don't have to go anywhere. All you have to do is authenticate in your app. Tell them who you're signed up with, and you can stick right here and watch football all night long. Let's get you to the next game on the slate. Oklahoma State taking on Texas. Christine Williamson's upset picking our little competition every single week. We pick it up here, second quarter. Texas, Casey Thompson picked off by Jason Taylor II. 85 yards, rumbling, stumbling, bumbling.
Is that another pick six
That's
today?
like the theme of the day. Pick six is just all over there. That was the jackpot number. We pick it up in the third quarter. Texas up by 4. Bijan, don't call me Dijon Robinson. He could be, though, because he brings the mustard. See what I did?
Man, just find a way to get this man the football. He's one of the most dynamic players since we've seen Reggie Bush.
Yeah, I don't think that life needs to be complicated. Find a way to get the ball to your best player and let him work. All right, fourth quarter. Oklahoma State down by a score. Spencer Sanders finds Brendan Presley for a 7-yard touchdown.
It's a nice ball.
Yeah, nice little play here. That gives them that puts them up 25-24 where we pick it up here. Sanders now takes it in himself. This was a boneheaded play. I don't care what anybody tells me. Look at the time left, 2:18. Sanders could have fallen down and forced Texas to use their timeouts. He didn't. He went in and scored. Texas still had a chance to come back and tie. They didn't make that happen, though. Thompson picked off by Tanner McAllister. That's all that Oklahoma State needed. They end up winning 32-24. But I will again stress, I think there's a learning opportunity through this because even through the win, Oklahoma State, with the ball, down inside the 10-yard line, Texas's defense stood there and intentionally let them score so they could get the ball back. That's a moment where everybody at Oklahoma State, especially the coaching staff, needs to be in the ears of the offensive players saying, good God, don't score because they left them way too much time. That's a learning opportunity.
It's game situations. You talk about situational football. We've seen that transpire numerous of occasions in the NFL. And it happened, I believe it happened in college football last year with Penn State against Indiana, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
that happened. So it's 2 years. Well, last year, NFL and college football, we've seen that transpire. But you have to understand the rules and regulations of the game. You have to understand situational football. But that pick six that Casey Thompson threw was the game-changing play all day long for this football game right here. Because it was 17-3, Texas. They're driving the football down to go put up another score, and they throw a pick six. The entire game changed after that pick six.
And I just wonder where Texas's mindset is now. I mean, that's 2 straight weeks.
2 weeks in a row.
That you're looking at it saying, how the hell did we lose that game? Like, if you're Texas, it's going to – Sark's got his hands full trying to get everybody back to square one just to build forward for the rest of the season. In the meantime, Oklahoma State's put themselves in a great situation.
Oklahoma State is looking good right now. They're finding ways to get these victories. Hey, do I want the quarterback to be better? Yes. Spencer Sanders? Yes, I want him to be better. But until then, Mr. Warren, the running back for Oklahoma State. Mr. Warren, I know you went against Bijan Robinson, but you let him know who you are as well today. You let him know who you were, man.
Well, let's let everybody know who Texas A&M is. That's the next highlight up. They're taking on Missouri. Isaiah Spiller. Oh, we're going to start coming out. Oh, that's fire.
Okay.
I like fire coming out. Now we pick it up Isaiah Spiller. Through a massive hole. Like I could have run through that hole. Makes a man miss. I couldn't have done that. On his way for a 48-yard touchdown.
Had a chance to talk to this young man after the football game, and we touched on, as a running back, you have to make a defender miss in space if you want to be a great back.
I mean, just look at the hole there, but also, I mean, that's the ultimate swiggity. Nicely done by him. I can't imagine what it feels like to know that you've just done that. We pick it up in the first quarter still. And this time, a nifty little 20-yard run puts the Aggies up 21-0. I mean, this was just not even a game. Aggies rolling, keeping all that momentum. Second quarter, a bright spot for Missouri. We like to share a little of. Tyler Beatty.
Wasn't many.
Takes the defender with him into the end zone. Look at that. He says, you can ride. Come on, I'll give you a piggyback ride.
That's the will to get in that end zone no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. We pick it up here. Zach Calzada rolls out, finds Smith for the 11-yard touchdown. Pretty little throw there. Texas A&M absolutely thumps Missouri. I don't think there's a big shock to this, but you like to see how they were going to come out after the big win. Like, what was their sort of momentum going to be like? Do they look over Missouri? None of that happened. 35-14, Texas A&M keeps rolling.
Well, now Texas A&M is playing like the team we expected them to play coming into the football season. Their
fair.
defense today studied it up. They rushed the football. Isaiah Spiller had a big day running the football as well as his counterpart in the backfield. So now this team did not have the hangover at the beating Alabama, and are showing right now what they can do do and what they should have been doing at the beginning of the year.
Well, speaking of teams that we've had our eye on all year long, let's take a look at the Auburn-Arkansas score. You know, we've been high in the Arkansas defense. Didn't help them. Arkansas is falling apart. Auburn, 38-23. Bo Nix, I owe you an apology, buddy, because I tweeted out Bo Pitt.
Yes, you
Am
did.
I right?
Yes, you did.
Turns out Bo Nix, who's not typically great on the road, actually had a really nice game here today, and it was a regrettable day for the entire Arkansas offense. They just looked disjointed.
Listen, I love the way he came back from adversity. Remember, he threw that interception in this football game, and then Arkansas started getting the momentum, but all Bo Nix did was kept delivering the football, hitting his receivers, and then he threw the bombs over the defense head for touchdowns. So shout out to Bo Nix for ignoring the noise. I mean, ignoring the noise and going out there performing on the road against an Arkansas defense that we've seen that have created turnovers, have been physical against opponents, but they got the job done today. Shout out to Bo Nix.
Yeah, like I said, never bet against Bo. All right, next up, speaking of quarterbacks, Heisman season, and a name that's emerged so far this season.
Yes.
Pitt quarterback Kenny Pickett. Check out his numbers entering the week. And a lot of people haven't been watching Pitt football. I don't blame you, but look at the numbers when you see them. They are spectacular. That completion percentage also really good work by him.
That boy balling.
That boy balling. No, I can't say it. Sound cool. Let's see how we fared against a tough Tech team today. This defense for Virginia Tech, pretty good. So we pick it up here. We're going to start in the first quarter. Kenny Pickett saying, you know what, guys? If you want a highlight, I'll give you one. I'm happy to do that.
No
Gavin
problem.
Bartholomew, what a regal name, for an 8-yard touchdown. Pitt goes up 8-0 early. Then Kenny Pickett hits Jared Wayne in the red zone with an incredible catch. Look at this one again, Harry. This is nice work. We'll get your replay on it.
It's a great job by the receiver and the quarterback putting the ball right there at the highest point, but the receiver going to get it at the highest point. I like that.
Second quarter, under 6 to go. Pickett takes it in for a 3-yard
Look at old
touchdown run.
Kenny.
14
his legs.
Sneaky athletics. Second quarter, less than 2 minutes to go. Pickett finds Jared Wayne for a 36-yard touchdown. He says, you know what, college football show, if you want a bunch of highlights, I will give them all to you.
It's not Bruce Wayne, it's Jared Wayne. That's what I'm talking about.
That. Virginia Tech in the third quarter needs to make some noise. Look at this one-handed catch.
Wow.
Tavian Robinson.
And he got the penalty, too.
Oh, that's nice, but still 28-7 at this point. Fourth quarter, less than 10 seconds left in the game. Virginia Tech's last attempt as time expires. Not sure really what they were attempting. 28-7. Pitt gets the big win.
Oh, I know what that means. We didn't got thrashed all day long. Let's go ahead and hit these lockers, hit these showers. We done.
22-37 for 203 with 2 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. An efficient day for Kenny Pickett against a good Virginia Tech defense. Pittsburgh, again, continues to have a sneaky good season, 5-1 at this point. They got to feel good about it.
Right now, if you have to think about the ACC, I think Pittsburgh, I understand Wake Forest is undefeated, but I think Pittsburgh right now is the best team in the ACC.
Oh, I mean, they are regretting that one loss. So,
yes.
I mean, that is a regrettable.
Yes, they are.
Nobody wants an out-of-conference loss that's like that. So we'll see how it looks moving forward. But we will also see the best of the day. That's right. Anytime you hear the strumming banjo and you know you're going to see the close-up snout of an uncomfortable cow, that means it's time for a holy out throughout the course of the day. I mean, that... All right, you ready? You ready? All right, Harry, let's tee you up first. We'll let Harry judge this first play. It comes from Rutgers' Bo Melton. Do a little toe tapping on the sideline here. Look at this. Toe tapping for the touchdown grabber in the back of the end zone.
Oh, I like this. I like the concentration, understanding, body awareness. Understand when you are on the football field, young man. I love it. I gave him an 83.
An 83? That feels like a very generous. Like he was wide open. All he had to do was stand there and catch a football that was coming to him. I missed 1 week around here, and you guys get willy-nilly with the scores. All right, I'll get you up next with a little bit of USF action. So, you know, we like big scoring plays. We like electric plays. So let's take a look at this one from USF's Brian Batty. Look at this kick return. And then he just presses the turbo button.
Bye-bye.
I mean, at this point, he could be moonwalking, still getting in. Look at the glitter shine on the back of the helmet.
Look at the kicker. Shout out to the kicker, though. He was trying his best to go tackle him.
Yeah, it was an effort play. I get to score this one, and I'm going to give it a 50.
Okay, here we go.
All he did was run.
I understand.
Like he didn't even have to make a move. He just run.
You could at least gave the man a 70. He scored a touchdown.
It was a big lane. He just he ran fast. He's good at that anyway.
He's been gone, and all of a sudden he comes back talking crazy.
Now, it is fair that I can't even run to the door to get a Coke without, like, getting winded. So who am I to judge him? All right, Harry, next up, you get a little fun here with Minnesota. Chris Ottman Bell. Well, touchdown with the interference.
You talk about strong catch. That's why you do the right arm strength. That's why you do those extra curls for the girls. You know what I mean? So you can be strong in the weight room. Awesome. Get off me, little boy. I'm stronger than you. He gets a 98.
Oh, man. Harry's getting willy-nilly with the big scores. All right, fine. If we're going to keep going with the big scores. By the way, the rice bucket, I've got so many questions, but I'll ask later. Like, what are you, massaging like rice in a bucket?
Yep, man. Grip work.
My God, the things that Harry Douglas has done in his life. All right, we're gonna get next to a little bit. Harry, we'll let you go again. McNeese's Mason Pierce. And then he's going to say, I will not go down.
You talk about balance. You talk about yoga. You talk about being a tiny Tim on the football field because two men actually lifted you up like that off the ground. I gave this a 100 because he kept his balance.
You gave this the double move 100?
But I only need him to do one thing.
I need
him to do one thing.
What?
He needs some milk.
Oh, my God.
He needs some milk and some milk for his Wheaties because he got to start eating them because for those men to lift you up like that, another grown man on the football field, come on, man, that's not a good look.
I would let you lift me up so that we could do the show. One more here. I'll go judge this one. Florida A&M, Chad Hunter. The catch and the touch. See, here's the thing, though. We're going to watch the replay here. And, you know, remember in math class in high school where you didn't just give the answer, you had to give the work? How did you get to the answer, right? Give this one the work. I gave it a 68. Like, he didn't catch it. He didn't high point the football. He fell down and the ball fell on him. I mean, that.
You've lost your mind.
I mean, 68. Like,
you gave this man a 68?
Yeah, like he didn't really catch the ball. He fell and the ball fell to him.
Why didn't you give him a 69? You were scared to give him a 69?
I think for
Get out of here.
Scooby! Scooby, save us! I need Scooby snacks. We're bringing in our buddy Scooby. Scooby.
Get him out of here.
You gave 100 on one big catch, and Harry gonna talk over here. He should have given him a 99. But you out here giving out hundreds.
I mean,
come on, Harry.
I love that we're calling out the hypocrisy.
I gave him 100 because Lil Daddy kept his balance, man.
Oh, stop.
You just called him Lil Daddy.
Because you can tell that he's a smaller guy because the guy's just lifting him up in the air like with ease.
Oh, dude. All right, man.
I will never call anybody Lil Daddy. That's the only.
Let's take a look at the Georgia score. Hey, Georgia, they're the real deal. It should have been 30-7, and they handled their business. A lot of people are talking about this game coming in, thinking Kentucky could give them some problems, but Georgia comes out big.
Now, Stetson Bennett today, efficient, 14 of 20, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. Getting the ball to his playmaker's hand. I said it, you got to get it to these tight ends. These tight ends are going to make y'all thrive. Use them. You got some special ones down there in Georgia.
And now, look, let me clearly say Georgia's the number 1 team in the country. And for the third straight week, I'll say that if I had a vote, I would have put them number 1. We all know that at this point. It's easy, right? Kentucky's defense played better than I thought they would for half of this game. I mean, I felt like Kentucky came to fight. Like, they tried their best to go blow to blow with Georgia. They just didn't have the manpower to do it. But I got to give Kentucky a little bit of credit in this loss. Like, I know that sounds dumb, but that's how much how much a believer I am in Georgia.
In this first half, the score was 14-7.
Yeah.
First half. And I think Kentucky possessed the football 9 more minutes than Georgia. So that lets you know that the Kentucky defense was holding Georgia. I think in the first half they were 1 for 5 as well on third downs. That's not good. You can't be that bad on third downs if you're UGA moving forward.
Yeah, as you say, Harry, Kentucky had 37 minutes of time of possession to Georgia's 22. And this game, definitely, they were doing their thing for the most part, but the scoreboard says a whole different other thing. Now let's look at a game for both teams that you're both kind of high on. Indiana hosting Michigan State. And in the first quarter, Indiana up 3-0. Cal Halliday says, let's have a day. Give me that. Pick 6 for 30 yards. Michigan State ends up getting up 7-3 at that point.
Take it to the house. Mama, I want to be on Sports Center.
We go to his house, and so does Peyton Thorne to Tyler Hunt, and he's hunting for 6, 12-yard TD. Hey, they hooked up on a reverse pass earlier in the drive, too.
And what I love about this play is that everybody thought Kenneth Walker III was going to get this football. No.
Psych.
It was the tight end Hunt.
Fourth quarter, last chance, Indiana, 4th and 21. You ain't getting nothing on 4th and 21. Turtles pass is incomplete. Turnover on downs. Michigan State holds on 20-15 to remain undefeated. And guys, listen, as we've seen, to stay undefeated is not an easy thing to do, no matter who you go against in college football. Michigan State is undefeated. They got a bye week, and then their schedule gets real difficult. 3 of their last 4 games are top 10 teams. What is their ceiling right now?
Yeah, I mean, look, first and foremost, Mel Tucker putting on a clinic. And, 7-0 for Sparty. I don't think anybody saw that coming into the year. But when you look particularly at recruiting, and everybody in college football constantly tells you, like, recruiting rules college football, right? I keep looking at the fact that they didn't recruit well the last 2 years. So what'd they do? They went to the transfer portal this year, and they had the right sales pitch to get guys in that they knew could contribute right away. And now look at their sales pitch for the next group that they're going to recruit. Like, that's the trickle down of this. Like, they've shown you, hey, this isn't Michigan State's offense you watched a few years ago. We can be explosive. We can do a lot. Hey, our defense is going to play really solid, swarming defensive football. Like, I mean, Indiana gave them a dogfight, but this is a 7-0 Sparty team that I think we got to tip our hat. No matter where it goes the end of the year, 100%. they're 10 times past where anybody thought they were going to be.
And I think Michigan State right now, this win was not pretty. It was ugly. But at this juncture in the season, you don't care how you get these W's. You want to get a W. And a W to keep you undefeated. And Mel Tucker, Skubie, I seen your workout videos. Fitz, I know you're grinding hard. Is Mel Tucker working out with y'all? Because he look like he's still in the weight room, man.
Oh, no, he's thick. He's got that thick thing going, right?
We got to put a workout plan.
I mean, he's taking the protein shakes and all that good.
Well, not everybody drink protein shakes.
Yeah, not everybody played in the NFL just genetically. Like, Harry Douglas can sit here and eat, like, I'm not even kidding. Man eats like 6 lunches, and then he's still, like, got racks on racks. Like, I don't know how you do that.
It's the jeans, brother. Yeah. It's the jeans.
I'm wearing nice jeans. Oh, we don't mean
jeans with a G.
All right, 7-0 for the first time since 2015. I mean, is the Big Ten positioned to have multiple teams in the college football playoff?
I'll say after the Big Ten now for that to happen. And if they go against Ohio State, then that will be Ohio State's second loss. So I don't think so. I think Iowa kind of spoiled that today. But before today started, they actually had 5 teams in the top 10. And you think the Big Ten is the best conference?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. They got 5 teams within the top 10 for the first time ever. Like, that's never happened. And I'm looking at, we all expect, I think the word they used in the broadcast today was that the Big Ten is going to cannibalize themselves over the last few weeks. I don't know, though. Like, is it going to split out? If we get a bunch of epic games between Penn State and Michigan State through this whole process, I could see, and we've seen the committee who's, they're always difficult to predict. We have seen the committee in the past basically turn around and say, hey, a 1-point loss isn't a big deal, right? Like, we're going to let that 1-point loss slide. So I still think there's a window that gets 2 Big Ten teams.
But I think Iowa kind of screwed everybody today because, right, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan State, all those teams have to play each other over the next, I think, 5 or 6 weeks, right? I think the path for Iowa, all they have left is Nebraska, and then they go to the Big Ten championship game. So if they win and then whoever comes from the other side loses, I think the other team is out.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the interesting thing. But obviously this is also going to hinge, Skubie, on whatever happens with Alabama and the rest of the SEC.
Alabama is a team that could still get in there. And as we look into their game right now, they're 5th ranked and they're going against Mississippi State. And I mean, does anyone think that Alabama isn't as good as Oklahoma, Cincy, and I don't even know if we can say Iowa anymore because they just lost their game. But Alabama's up 7-3 right now. And do you think that they're still a college football playoff team?
And they just got an interception. I think right now Alabama is the second best team in the country. As you've seen, Mr. Battle goes with the pick six. Another pick six.
I just
way to look in, right?
Pick sixes are the theme of the day. And number 2, for every person right now that ever has said anything about college kids taunting after a big play, ask yourself this, because if you're sitting in the sports bar right now, you are walking over to whoever's wearing a Mississippi State shirt, and you are talking your talk. I cannot believe what it would feel like to truck somebody like that and then walk away from them. I would just be standing over him saying, take that 15 yards. I am going to talk my talk.
The champ is here. They gave him the belt after. Champ is here. But, hey, Alabama, I think they still have a great chance to make the college football playoff as well. And they're seeming like a team that can bounce back. I mean, can you ever doubt Alabama? Is Cincy better than them? Is Oklahoma better than them?
No. Last 3 or 4 weeks, they have 2 and then they just got the pick 6. So shout out to this defense.
Look, and I'm going to loudly, any given Saturday, fine. We all know that theme. I'm not talking about can somebody beat somebody. Like can is such an interesting word. The metric I always use, and Harry's tired of me saying this over the last 24 hours. If you had to bet every dollar you were ever going to make the rest of your life on Alabama versus Cincinnati on a neutral Saturday, who are you taking? Every single a Cincinnati jersey right now would tell you the answer is Alabama. They're the second best team in the country. I don't care about the loss. I don't care about the loss.
All right, guys. I agree with that. Alabama is definitely seeming like the team that can make some noise. And Oklahoma, though, is definitely a team that can get up in the top 4 as well. I see them being a team that can make some noise, and it's going to get interesting as we approach that time to decide on the college football playoff.
Well, and interesting also because we just showed Cincinnati. I think the number one thing we have to remember is that Cincinnati's best runway is behind them, right? The best of their resume has already been accomplished. So when we get the beginning of the college football playoff committee rankings, which will start November 2nd, if the committee comes out and gives Cincinnati a ton of value in the beginning, then maybe I feel a little bit more comfortable if I'm a Bearcats fan. If they don't, you're not going to make that up. This feels a little like the tortoise and the hare, right? Like, because all of these other teams are going to have the opportunity to make up big ground with big games.
And I think one of the best things that's ahead for Cincinnati is SMU. They need SMU to continue to win, not only to continue to win, but climb in those rankings. So that's another opponent that's ranked that the Cincinnati Bearcats would have beaten.
And also, let me loudly say, too, the charge of the committee is to get the 4 best teams. And I often say that's 4 best of the 4 most deserving. Conference championships are an opportunity, but realistically, there are 5 power conferences and only 4 don't matter. I only say that because all I care about is 4 best. And I don't care if they all 4 come from one conference.
Me either.
If you were telling me right now, if I had to tell you the 4 best teams in the country, I don't know that I would have a problem with the committee coming in and deciding that that's Georgia, Alabama, and whichever 2 teams by the end of this season have survived the gauntlet the best in the Big Ten. Give me 2 SEC teams, 2 Big Ten teams. I don't care. I don't care where they come from. I just want 4 best.
For Alabama to make the college football playoff season, can they just win their games? What do they have to do in order to get to the college football playoff at this point?
Well, I think it's simple. They have to beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. Forget how they win the other games. They have to beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. That's the game everybody's going to be waiting on. That's going to be the deciding factor if Alabama makes the college football playoffs or not.
Man, nobody's going to like this opinion. And let me just remind everybody, I said that Alabama would lose 2 games this season. So before the season, got killed for that. So I would love for them to lose the SEC championship game because then I was right. That being said, if Alabama loses to Georgia in the mother of all games in the SEC championship game, in a game that echoes the national championship game that we were at a few years ago, if it's one of those wild, crazy, oh my God finishes, I still think a 2-loss Alabama team has a shot of getting into the playoffs this year.
Now, you say that. Should they, in my eyes? Yes, because I still think Alabama is the second best football team in the country. Because their defense is getting a little bit better. But in my eyes right now, I think Alabama's the second best team in the country. Forget all that other nonsense. And if we're going by the 4 best teams, throw the records out. Put the 4 best teams in there.
Yeah, well, that's the score of the Alabama game right now. You can watch that on ESPN right now. We've celebrated the good. Now it's time we celebrate the bad. It's time for Bruh Delivered by Pizza Hut, guys. And we got some pretty crazy plays and some things that really had me looking at the screen like, bruh. First up, Spencer Sanders goes deep to Tay Martin, but Martin can't haul it in on the play. Come on, bruh.
What a perfect pass. Come on, bruh. You got to hold on to that. It's a big game for your team.
He'll make up for it here.
Yeah, right in the red zone. Drops it again.
Oh,
that's a bad hit. Come on, bro. 2 huge
drops. My friends. Come on, bro. That's 2 drops early on.
First time he goes into the huddle, he says sorry. The second time, he just walks to the sideline.
Yeah, I know what's going on there. He tripping. Now 5 seconds before halftime in this game. Florida down 21-6. And Emory Jones says we need 6. And Justin Shorter says, I got us. The Hail Mary catch, LSU defenders in La La Land. What are they doing?
1, 2, 3, 4. How many?
Bruh, it's a lot of those guys in white jerseys down there. Come on, man. Somebody has to knock this football down. Anybody can catch it except the guys in bright orange. Come on,
How do you forget to press the jump button? That's all you got to do, right? Like the Y button. Everybody jumps.
All right, here we got another one. Steven Krajewski goes deep to Keelan Marion. And my guy makes the catch here. He doesn't drop it. 63-yard touchdown. Where were the Yale defenders? Come on.
Bruh, I tell you, that's that corner's fault. I think they were in quarters coverage. The safety's responsibility, bruh, in quarters is to go with the number 2 receiver in the slot. Come on, Mr.
I'm
Corner.
gonna us for showing a Yale, Connecticut highlight. What?
Yeah, shout out to us for that. Now, this was a tight game. Jack Tuttle, pass is almost picked off, but Angelo Gross, what's good with the hands? Come on, bruh.
Bruh, this game was close. This would have sealed the game. I mean, sealed the game for Michigan State. They still won, but I'm going to bruh you because you had an opportunity to shine, but you didn't shine. I don't know what you did, but you didn't shine.
Now, this is what you call getting too cute. BYU attempts the flea flicker, but the only thing that they should have been fleeing was that play. Jalen Petrie says, get over here.
There's a reason, bruh, that they are down right now in this football game.
I don't know. I think the running back at that point should have just laid down and said, sorry, we'll try this another time. Everybody's swarming on that, bruh.
I don't know what's up with everybody trying these trick plays that don't work. So we have to hit him with the bruh. Come on.
What are y'all doing out there?
I like
Come
a little
on, BYU.
trickery. I just want it to work. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't work in that instance, and we've seen BYU, and we've seen how they have played today as well. So that's indicative of what the score is.
Bruh. Indicative indeed, sir. Now, here's a look at our games on our list of networks. Some good games going on, fellas.
Now I need Boston College to beat NC State. That's my upset pick this week. I don't care about either team. I just want the points. And apparently Ole Miss just scored a touchdown, so Lane Kiffin winning the Revenge Bowl against Tennessee.
Well, the thing about this game right here is that you have the number 4 scoring offense in Ole Miss versus the number 7 offense in Tennessee. So expect a lot of points to be scored in this football game.
There's big beef in this game. The fans are happy to see Ole Miss. They're trying to get some revenge against him, too. This is a game where I'm just like, a lot of emotions.
And shout out to Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, right?
Just
2 alums of the universities, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
2 alums of the universities.
Oh, that's good. I just didn't know if maybe you were buddies with them, too. I'm riding your coattails to any famous people I can meet.
I know you guys care about your upset picks a lot, so that's usually the game that you're always talking about every time we're watching games. It's like you're not even a fan of teams anymore.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I just want to get the I mean, Christine got her upset pick this week. I got to keep pace. That's all I know.
All right, we're going to Alabama. It's still 14-3. Alabama,
young quarterback,
seem like they're in control.
2 times.
What do you guys think Mississippi can get done here? They're 1st and 10.
Right back after.
Yeah,
it's backed up in their own parts.
I think this is a bit of a I don't want to say statement game for Alabama, but you just got to expect Alabama's defense needs to come out and put something better on film, right? Like they just got to put something better on tape for everybody to feel better about Alabama.
And even though you're Alabama and you're known for being a top program in the country, it's a confidence booster for this defense, right? Everybody has a conscience. Everybody has feelings. It's a confidence booster for this Alabama defense to come out here today and have a good showing and have a good outing moving forward.
Yeah, there's that first touchdown from earlier on, and you see that Alabama doing the plays that they always do, and then this pick 6. I mean, that was just pick sick. You got to love plays like that. And, you know, Saban, after a tough loss, like, he's on them boys. They were probably getting it in film, telling them to be zoned in for this game. And you can see that they started off real well with that 14 points in the first quarter.
And for this Alabama team, John Mechie III, where has he been? You see him right now. He has 2 receptions for 52 yards and a touchdown, but he has been non-existent so far in this season.
Now we're dropping in as we take a look at some of the crazy and twisted plays from Week 7 presented by Twisted Tees. And we got some good ones as always, fellas. So let's take a look.
Shimmy it for no reason.
Chase Garbers on 4th and 4, buys time, and completes the backhanded shovel pass to Crawford.
Look at that.
By all means necessary. You make the play, son. By all means necessary. I don't care what you have to do. Shout out to my guy, Bill Musgrave.
Yeah,
you're saying that right now because it worked. If that doesn't work, we're sitting there saying, what are you doing, QB1? I'm just saying, let's be real.
By all means necessary.
They needed it, and they got it. Now we got our next one. Armani Rogers at his own end zone check this out.
Yeah, I got
this
you.
is the smoothest 99-yard touchdown that you'll ever see. The longest by a QB in FBS history.
Scooby, you missed the perfect opportunity there to go swiggity spooty. He's going for the booty.
Take it the distance. I like this.
Man, that's like he's running like a guy that loves berries and
All
grapes.
the guys
I'm
in
working
blue
all
are
of
twisted,
Did
too.
you see Purdue's tweet?
Look like a straight.
We just beat the
Now
number
we got
2
Clemson
out of Iowa.
Punting on 4th and 5.
Purdue football
Will Spears
tweeted that.
Pump fakes and completes the pass to a leaping
We
Davis
just beat
Allen.
the number 2
Gets a
out of
first down
Iowa.
to keep the drive alive.
Look at
They
that
know that's
arrow.
disrespectful. too.
Might be the
That
best quarterback play
is
they've seen all
epic.
season. Oh!
But this is the thing. Clemson has gotten to the point to where they have to do things like this just to get some momentum in a football game. Where has Clemson been?
Ooh, that was a beautiful pass, too, up top, and he went up there and got it at its highest spot. A thing of beauty. I love to see football like that, fellas.
Yeah, that's well done.
Come here, little boy.
All right, now let's get you caught up on the best plays brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. My favorite drink in the entire world. It is a delight. We'll start with Michigan State with this delight coming from Peyton Thorne. Now, when I usually say Peyton Thorne, you think Peyton Thorne, the quarterback. Well, no. What happens when Peyton Thorne is the wide receiver, Harry?
If you're the defender for Indiana, you have to be embarrassed. But guess what? The 2 defenders, I'm going to do it early. You got mossed by the quarterback. But shout out to them. This is the second week in a row they run that trick play.
Let's take a look at Western Kentucky's Jareth Stearns on that touchdown.
Little man fast.
He is. He's got slowing down, talking to the ref on the way through, and then hands him the ball. So polite. Oh,
Man,
beautiful play, though. I mean, just outran everybody.
I like those small players, man. They're so dynamic.
You say that like you're 6'4" or something.
I'm 6'1".
Oh, you're 6. You're 6'1". Oh, now I've heard the brunt of the day. Rutgers, Bo Melton. Look at that routine. Gets up there.
That's how you're supposed to hurdle somebody, Fitz. Look how high he gets.
Yeah, I'm just still wondering about that 6'1" thing. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm 6'1". I mean, I understand some people are jealous because they can't have the height, but I mean.
Yeah, 6'1", like what you wear, like.
I'm not
Prince
talking about
boots?
anybody in particular.
Like Prince used to wear those boots on stage. Made him. I mean, I'm 5'9", thank you. I'm happy with it.
Own up to it.
Scooby, give us some tweets or something.
All right, man,
I'm over here listening to
let's go ahead and check out.
6'1".
Let's stop making fun of my guy's height, man. You know what I'm saying? We're going to leave that alone. We're going to look at the tweets of the day, though. And this first one, maybe you could use some extra toes or something, Fitz. He's got Kentucky's linebacker Weaver, J.J. Weaver, 6 fingers, y'all.
That is not Photoshopped, by the way.
And this is no lie. My brother, his freshman year, played basketball at Auburn. He had a guy on his basketball team named Frank Tarbert who had 6 fingers as well.
Genuine question. Looks like, does that help Palma basketball?
Bro, get out of here.
I'm asking
For real though, I feel you.
So my only question for Mr. Weaver here is like, and not even trying to be funny or anything, like, if he needs to wear gloves, like, how does it happen?
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Now, our next tweet. This is from UConn football. Guess what, y'all? They won a game! Hey! All I do is win. Now, I ain't gonna sing it because we don't got no rights, but you know what I mean, Harry.
Fighting Orlovskis get their first win in 721 days? Come on now.
Go, Dan. Go, Dan. Go.
Get hyped now.
I kind of want to see Orlovsky in that locker room.
721 days, the first time that they got a win. That is deserved.
That is
deserving
rough.
of a celebration. UConn is right around the corner. Maybe I'll go ahead and buy their coach a drink or something because it's about time they got a win. Now our next one. This is from Louisville Athletics. Hey, Harry,
Yes.
I sent this in our group text this morning. You said you saw Lamar Jackson getting his number retired at Louisville in a surprise video. This is dope.
And let me tell you why this is important and why this is just so, as dope as they come. He's only the second player in Louisville's history to have his jersey retired. The first, Johnny United. The second, Lamar Jackson, Action Jackson, a.k.a. a legend. So Louisville, shout out to you for doing what's right, even though this young man is still playing. Because yes, he is a living legend.
All right, speaking of a Louisville legend.
I'm so sick of y'all. Boy, I tell you, your own kind of bring you down, boy.
Yeah, you gotta tell me, RBJ Cool sounds like he's spinning on the ones and twos, right?
Listen, so I'm on radio. I'm doing radio. I'm watching games. I'm trying to tweet what's going on. The L button is right beside the K button on your phone. So I hit the L button instead of the K button, but I meant to write James Cook. But shout out to James Cook for that nice angle route for a touchdown.
It was a nice route.
I'm so sick of y'all. Your own people will bring you down.
RBJ Cool in the club. No, I should
Hey,
never
that's
say
what's
that.
going on in the day. The tweet is fair with our tweets of the day presented by AT&T 5G.
I don't even know.
But
what to
guess
say to
what?
that.
You know, I'm gonna get Sid too, cause he behind it too. I'm gonna get you, Sid. I know you back in the
That's our
control
producer,
room,
by the way.
but Sid, I'm gonna get you. Don't you worry.
Yeah, we've got a mad Harry Douglas. One thing I know is that it has been a wild Saturday. If you're just tuning in trying to figure out what the hell's going on, so are we. But we're here every single Saturday,
sir.
hanging out with you from 7 to 8 p.m. right here. And we're back at 11 o'clock. Be sure to check out the wrap-up. Always having fun. That we'll be all back. For Skubie, for Harry, I'm Jason. And thanks for hanging out on the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G.